take a look at Chapter 8, which is strings and regular expressions. So I run this preparation script. So a string is banana, and it's just a series of letters. Fruit sub 0 is the first letter, fruit sub 1 is the second letter, so that'll be an A. All right, so you can think of it as an array, it's a sequence. Fruit 0 is the first letter, which is B. All right, that gets the 0th letter that starts counting at 0. You can also use a variable, of course. If I is 1, then fruit of I is A, the second letter. You can do fruit of I plus 1, of course. That'll be the next letter, N. It has to be an integer. You can't use a floating point variable. It won't let you take that. String indices must be integers, not float. That's a handy descriptive error message. It makes it easy to see what you did wrong. You can use length to get the length of the string. That'll be 6. Banana has 6 letters. To get the last letter, you could try writing this fruit n, but remember, it went from 0 to n minus 1 to have n letters. There is no element n out of range. It's fruit of n minus 1. You can also do this. Fruit of minus 1 returns the last letter in the string. Minus 1 is the last letter, minus 2 is the second to last letter, and so on. Banana, that's the last letter. You can also make slices from 0 to 3. And we've done this, I think, in the project. This will be start at the 0th letter and continue, but not include the second letter, so it's going to be the third letter, so it's going to be ban. All right, you can go from N to M. All right. And we can, this is just another diagram they think might make this more clear. All right. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, 0 through 5 are the letters. 6 goes off the end. All right. So 3 to 6, I would select the letters A and A at the end of it, from 3 to 5, not including 6. Fruit colon 3 will be the first 3 letters. And fruit 3 colon will start at the number 3 letter and go to the end. And the number 3 letter is the A. This will be Anna. If the first index is greater than or equal to the second, if you go from 3, counting up to 3, not including 3, this has no, this is going to return a blank empty string. You haven't included anything. You have to go from 3 to 4 if you want even one character. An empty string contains no characters and has length 0. And this will be the whole thing, I think, colon. Yeah, the whole thing, banana. All right. Strings are immutable, though. One thing that's irritating. So I have hello world. I want to change the first word to J. If you do that, it's going to say you can't support item assignment. You cannot change one letter of a string. You can recalculate the whole string and store it in a new string object, but you cannot change any part of a string. They are immutable. Now what you could do is make a new greeting, which is J plus the old greeting, skipping the first letter, and then you'll have what you wanted, Jello world. All right. And does not affect the original word because it's a different name. New greeting is a different variable than greeting. You can compare strings, banana and banana. If word equals banana, it's right. You can have, that's equality. You can also do less than or greater than, and that will just put them in alphabetical order. So is this word before banana or after banana or equal to banana? That's what this will do, compare word. So compare word of apple. Apple is before banana. And compare word pineapple. Pineapple is before banana, and this is because it's using the same kind of ASCII thing. All the capital letters come before all the lowercase letters. So pineapple with a capital P is before banana in this alphabetical list. It's not really alphabetical, it's ASCII order, where capital letters are before the lowercase letters. So you could turn them all to lowercase or something before comparing the comparison if you want to get back to more what in English would consider alphabetical order. So you can set the new word is word upper. That's going to be uppercase banana. And that's what the dot does. This refers to a method of a string object. You have a string object and some internal methods that apply to that object. You put a dot and then the name of the method. All right. And you can write files. So I'm going to check and see if this file exists. OS path exists. And if it doesn't exist, then I'm going to download something and put it there. So that's kind of nice. Now I can see my files here. And you see I have a few files, but I do not have anything named page345.txt. So it's going to pass this test and download something with wget, and there it is, downloading some data. So this is a book, Dracula, from Gutenberg. And so now I can open it with a reader, and now I can, is special line. Okay, there are special lines that start with star, star, star. So I'm going to define how to tell if something's special, and that'll be line dot starts with these characters. So now I can read all the lines, and if it's a special line, print them. And so here's the two special lines, start of the project, end of the project. Those are extra lines in there with metadata. That's not really part of the Dracula book. That's just labels for this particular version of it put on the Project Gutenberg site. So we can make a cleaned version that doesn't contain those. So we will have reader is open and writer is open to make a cleaned file. And this is going to open, by default it opens for read mode. You have to put a W here to open it in write mode. So right now, there is a file called page345.txt, but there is no file called page345 clean.txt. So that's going to prepare it. Now if this special line break, so first we're going to loop until we find the first special line. All right, that breaks out of the loop. So now if we print line, it's going to show us that special line, okay? And now this loop is going to read the rest of the file. If it's special, give up, otherwise write it. So it's going to write everything, but when it hits the special line, it's going to not write it and stop. So that does it. And so now I have page 345 cleaned here, in addition to page 345. And line contains the second line where it stopped. And so now reader and writer are both open. I can close them, which is a good idea so we don't accidentally write to them more. And now we can read the first few lines from the new file. Page cleaned, just print out the first few lines, and there you go. It has just the Dracula text without these extra meta character things starting with stars. All right, now there's a version of it that changed the name of someone from Jonathan to Thomas. You could loop through that and replace it. So I can I start by counting the number of lines in the cleaned file. With total, we're just going to add one for every line in that file. So we have 15,000 and change. Now we're going to see which lines contain Jonathan. And it turns out 199 lines contain this string Jonathan. It can appear more than once in a line. This is the number of lines that contain it. It's not the number of occurrences. So to get that total, you can use the count method, where you don't just add one every time you find a line that contains it. You add the count of Jonathan in that line. So that'll count them all, and they're really 200. So there's one line somewhere with 2 occurrences of Jonathan. Now you can replace Jonathan with Thomas. This will be line replace Jonathan with Thomas, although I think this is only going to replace the first occurrence. That's what we're going to see. If I do this, and then I write it, going to page 345 replaced, okay, so now I'm going to have 3 files. I have the original file, here's the one cleaned but the metadata removed, and here's the one with Jonathan replaced by a different name, although I'm not sure we really got them all. And now we can count how many times Thomas appears, and it's 201. So it did change all 200 occurrences of Jonathan, and there was one other regular occurrence of that new name called Thomas in there somewhere. All right. So if you know exactly what sequence of characters you're looking for, you can use in. You can also use regular expressions, which are very powerful, but always a little confusing. So I'm going to look for a pattern equals Dracula, and RE will let me search for that pattern in text. And if the pattern is just a literal string, it'll just look for that string inside there. So I have this text, and now I can search for pattern text, and it will show me it found it, and it goes from 5 to 12. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to 12 is where it found the word Dracula in there. All right. It returns a match object that contains the results of the search. It has a variable named string that is the original string, and a method called group, which is the matching part, Dracula here. And it has a method called span that returns the 2 indices in a tuple. A tuple is something in parentheses in Python that has 2 values, start and end. All right, if it doesn't appear in the text, then you get none is the answer. So you can check if the search is successful by checking if the result is none. So putting it all together, here we're going to find the first occurrence, the first line in the book that matches the pattern. So for every line, we're going to check the search for the pattern, and if it's not none, then we'll return the result. So now we can use it to find the first mention of a character. It'll find the first place Harker appears and show you the first line of the thing that contains that word Harker. All right, there were other ways to do it. Now, this is a very simple regular expression where you just look for a fixed word in a string. Usually you use regular expressions to do something much more complicated, like have a pattern. I've seen a pattern that matches phone numbers or social security numbers, and it's really complicated. Here we have a simple pattern where it can be one of two words, Mina or Murray. The pipe is a special character. So now that'll find the first occurrence, and here's where it finds either Mina or Murray. So the first thing that finds is Mina. All right, you can see how many times a character is mentioned by either name. This is going to count matches of the pattern and count, I think, the number of lines, not occurrences, for line and open. Search your pattern line. If it's not equal to none, count one of this. You're going to count the number of lines that match the pattern. Okay, so now we can find how many times Mina is mentioned, Mina or Murray. So I'd like to think this is a typo. This is going to be Mina or Murray. Now, if I wanted to find just Mina, I would do this, and that would be a lower number. So I think you could regard this as a defect in this document. Okay, control Mina or Murray. 227, but the either or is 229. All right, fair enough. Now you can also put a caret. That means it has to be at the start of the line. So Dracula can't appear just somewhere in the line, has to appear right at the start. All right. And dollars matches the end, so this would be a line ending in Harker. All right. And you can do string substitution. So this is going to change the English spelling center to the British spelling with an RE. So this will match center, either English or the British version of center. That's the pattern. And so we can define that pattern and find it. And here we are. That's the British spelling of center. All right. We can check whether you use the British spelling of color, C-O-L-U-O-U-R. And the question mark means the previous character is optional. So it will also match C-O-L-O-R. There's another regular expressions get a little more complicated. So there's the color. And notice it has an ED at the end. But we didn't outlaw that. We just looked for this occurrence to appear somewhere, and we didn't put a dollars at the end or anything, which would have terminated it. So a word that contains color would work. Now, if we want to produce a dictionary book with English spellings, you can use the substitute pattern. This will substitute a pattern. You want to find it in a place. The second is what you replace it with. And the third is the string you want to search. So that's going to substitute pattern with color. And the pattern is this. So now colored with a U is turned into color without a U. All right, and you have many more complicated regular expressions available. I use this function to search for all lines to use for example. And here's the pattern I used. And this is a pretty complicated pattern. This is the sort of thing you see. This means this can have one character that can go from A to Z. This can have a character and it has to be a letter between lowercase a to Z or uppercase a to Z. And this is getting pretty hard to understand. They tend to get pretty obscure this way. All right. Anyway, and there are very complicated regular expressions and very difficult to write the complicated ones. These days I would definitely use just a search engine or AI to do it. Write regular expressions like this sort of thing. Anyway, that's what I wanted to show you. I'm going to stop this recording.